You're watching Pulse for the 7th of June, and right now it's time for some World of WarCraft news. In this week's episode, we take a look at the future of PvP in Mists of Pandaria, the Beheading of Faction Enchants in World of WarCraft, the now usual Mists of Pandaria beta updates, including talk about the fact that we can now finally reach level 90 in the beta, Pandaria's appearance on the world map, the new Horde and Alliance capital cities, and much more. Let's get straight to the news. First up, have you been wondering what's going to be happening with PvP in Mists of Pandaria? What are Blizzard's big plans? What can we expect to be added to the beta in the weeks or months to come? Well, all of that was recently answered when Nethera sat down with World of WarCraft game director Tom Chilton to discuss the future of PvP in Mists of Pandaria. Exciting stuff. Some highlights from this huge interview are the following. Blizzard is considering putting an item in the game that would let players on the ground shoot down mounted players, pulling them into combat if they flagged for PvP and in close enough range. Yes, that's a little weird, but it does sound fun. City guards on PvP realms will not be as tough as guards on PvE realms. Blizzard are deliberately trying to get people back into the world, fighting, and the new cross-realm zones are set to help with that. There won't be a new Wintergrasp or Tolbarad style battleground area thing in Mists of Pandaria. The new battlegrounds coming to Pandaria, the Temple of Kotmogu and the Silver Shard Mine should be in the beta and ready for testing in the next couple of weeks. Super keen for that. There's a new voting system coming that will allow you to downvote the battlegrounds you'd like to see pop up less. There's a new arena coming which we kind of already knew. It's called the Tolvir Proving Grounds. Players will now see their opponent's class and spec before they start an arena match, although not spec specifics, and much more. It's all sounding very good to me. The most interesting, probably the fact that Blizzard is trying to get world PvP up and running again. Let's hope it works. If you'd like to read the full interview for yourself, well, you know exactly where to look, and I urge you to do so. Next up, head enchants are gone. Yes, if you were wondering why they weren't present in the beta, well, here's your answer. The long and short of it is that Blizzard decided that putting head enchants on the various faction vendors wasn't working well with their design intentions. They decided to no longer offer new head enchants and make older ones non-functional. This was to eliminate giving players the feeling that they had to go back to older content or miss out on that extra bit of power. So yes, that means that headgear is simply no longer enchantable, and we now have one less required step to get a piece of loot ready to wear, which I think works brilliantly with all the other steps Blizzard are taking to make the game more fun and I guess less of a drag. So if you want to read more about this or discuss it on the official forums, you can find a link below that will get you started. Now we're moving on to the Mists of Pandaria beta updates, changes, and additions. First, the bigger ones. You can now level to 90 in the beta, so a whole bunch of new skills are now accessible along with flying in Pandaria. To many players' surprise, new Alliance and Horde capital cities are now located in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. There are a ton of shiny new loading screens to have a look at, and they are looking absolutely amazing. The login screen has been updated yet again. Pandaria is now showing up on the world map, pretty much exactly where everyone expected it to be. There are a ton of new emotes, emote sounds, and voiceovers in the beta. The black market auction house's bid cap has been increased to 999,000 gold. There were a few changes made to the way inspecting is done and displayed. New and pretty cool pet battle music has been added to the game, and if you listen carefully, you may be able to hear it playing in the background. I gotta say, I really do like it, and if you head on over to the MMO Champion YouTube channel, then you can hear all the tracks. I urge you to do so, it's well worth it. There are a few previews to have a look at for Alchemy, Herbalism, Inscription, and Cooking from Wowhead and MMO Champion, and much, much, much more. If you're interested in anything I mentioned, or just the Mists of Pandaria beta's development and progress in general, then you'd better check the links below. Now though, let's move on to the smalls. First up, the Dragon Soul difficulty has been changed yet again. The buff is now at 25%. Read about Blizzard's new summer challenge, the first one for the Temple of Anchorage. There's some new World of Warcraft art and comics to check out. The Doomhammer replica is now on sale, and lastly, right here on YouTube you can find Negative Nate by WoW Krendor. That is sadly all I have for you in the news this week. Check back here soon for more. Like the video and all that other good stuff, and most importantly, happy getting to level 90 in the beta. And all the other cool stuff that was added too.